Now let's go to next one, which is absolute value inequalities. We know to solve absolute value equation, absolute value x, 1 is equal to a, therefore x is plus minus a. So this is for equation. Okay, how about inequalities? For inequalities, the first rule here is if you have absolute value a less than b, then a must be between minus b and also b. Let me show you one example here. For example, absolute value x is less than 3. So if you want to open up, your absolute value is at 0 here. So this acts as a mirror. Okay, so now it said that your absolute value x, so it is not included and is less than 3. Okay, so what if this is a mirror? So again, you will have another line here with the same distance. You have the same dot, and this distance is the same distance with the right hand side. So since this is 3, this is now minus 3. So what happens if you open up now? Your x now is between 3 and also minus 3. Okay, so what if this is equal? If it is equal, this is just a dot. So again, this will becomes equal. Now, what if you have absolute value x minus 3 and now it is less than 1? Okay, so what will happen is draw the number line, and then whatever you have in the middle here, this is 0, and your absolute value here acts as a mirror. Okay, so now this is less than 1. Draw a line. Since this is a mirror, this is the reflection, this is the same distance, so it is minus 1. So let's try to open up your answer. X minus 3 now is less than 1. This is more than minus 1. So let's solve this. Bring this minus 3 to the right hand side. Bring this minus 3 towards your left hand side. Therefore, you're left with x. So x is less than 4. And then bring minus 3 here. So 3 minus 1, this is equal to 2. How about the second rule here? If absolute value a is more than b, then a is less than b or a is more than b. So now let me show you how is this possible. So let's demo with this question. Absolute value x is more than 2. So just draw absolute value here. This is 0, act as a mirror. So now this value here is more than 2. So let's draw it. It is more than 2. So since this is a mirror, this dot will be dot as well. And this line here to the right now will become line towards your left. Okay. Since this is 2, therefore your left hand side now is minus 2. So now let's conclude our answer. Now your x is less than minus 2, or it is more than 2. This is the way to write your answer. Now let's try with this question here. Absolute value x plus 4 more or equal to 3. Okay, so again, let's start with drawing number line, and in the middle here, whatever your absolute value is, this is mirror, so everything will be reflected here. So now let's graph 3 included to the right, so the reflection will be the same distance 3, the same distance 3, so this is negative 3. So now let's conclude our answer here. Let's read this part first. So x plus 4 here is less or equal to minus 3, And this part here, x plus 4 is more or equal to 3. So now let's finish up. Bring 4 to the other side. Therefore, x is less or equal to minus 7. Or another one, let's bring this 4 to the other side. So x is more or equal to negative 1. So this is our final answer. Now, since we know how to do the simple one of absolute value inequalities, so now we can do a more advanced level. So this question asks us to solve these inequalities with absolute value. Okay, so first step, make sure one side is absolute value, another side is numbers. Next step, you can split the modulus to becomes at the numerator and also at the denominator, because we have this rule here, absolute value A over B is just absolute value A over absolute value B. Okay, when it becomes like this, next step, you can just cross multiply. So just now I've reminded you that you cannot cross multiply because we don't know either the denominator is positive or negative. However, for this question here, we can cross multiply because we have confirmed that absolute value is always positive. Therefore, just cross multiply. After you cross multiply, you can just square both sides. Okay, what happens when we square both sides? When we square both sides, the absolute value will disappear. Okay, because square is always positive, so we don't need absolute value anymore to maintain the positivity. All right, so just square both sides and then drop the absolute value sign. Now let's open up. So square the first, 2 times square the last. Open up this one, square the first, 2 times square the last. So now this becomes a quadratic inequalities. So as usual, bring everything to one side, and then you have a negative a here. We don't want negative a, so multiply everything with minus 1. So it becomes 3x squared plus 6x. Flip the sign, and then your right hand side is 0. So now factorize. You have 3x in bracket, x plus 2. Let's find the zeros. Okay, the zeros or the roots. X equal to 0. Another one is x equal to minus 2. So now let's do the sign table here. Draw the number line. Put minus 2 on your left. Put 0 on your right. And then put in the factor 3x and x plus 2. Let's do shortcut. For 3x, the zeros is 0. So right hand side is plus. Back hand side here is minus. For x plus 2, the zeros is here. Okay, so right hand side is plus. The back here is minus. Let's find the resulting sign. Minus minus is plus. Minus plus is minus. Plus plus is plus. So let's look at the final inequalities here. You want a negative sign, so you want this number here. Okay, so for this one, the interval is minus 2 until 0. Not included because you don't have equal sign here. Okay, be careful. You need to take care of the domain, all right? So domain here, denominator cannot be equal to 0. So 2x plus 1 cannot be equal to 0. Therefore, x cannot be equal to minus 1 over 2. Okay, so let's draw this. The final answer that you got from sign table is minus 2 until 0, right? Not included, okay, the orange line here. However, from the domain, we know that x cannot be equal to minus half. So you need to put a hole here also. So let's read our final answer. Read carefully. This is this part here, union another part. So this part here is minus 2 until minus half, union minus half until 0. So this is your final answer. So actually this is the shortcut way where you'll use square both sides. Actually we have another method which is solving by using definition. So what is solving by definition? Solving by definition is solving by using mirror. So this is a bit long and complicated, but if the question asks you to solve by definition, you need to use the mirror. So now let me show you how to draw a mirror here. So just draw a straight line, and then now this is the absolute value. This is 0, which acts as a mirror. So now let's see the question. It must be more than 1. Okay, so let's draw that first. It must be more than 1. So the reflecting is on your left. It must be less than minus 1. So this is how we will open it up. So let's see the left hand side first. So whatever you have in your absolute value, this is less than minus 1 for the first part. Or let's see the right hand side. Whatever you have in your absolute value, this must be more than 1. Okay, so we use or because it's not connected. If it is connected, we will use and, which is intersection. This is just or. Now let's solve one by one. Let's solve the left hand side first. So this is a rational inequalities. So bring everything to your left hand side, equate denominator, and then simplify your rational expression. Let's find our zeros right now, or the roots. So x is equal to 0. Another one is negative 1 over 2. So now we can draw our sign table, negative half and 0. Then put your factor here. The first one is 0, right hand side is plus, back here is minus. Second one, it is minus half, right hand side is plus, back here is minus. Let's find the resulting sign. Minus minus is plus, minus plus is minus, plus plus is plus. We want a negative value, so this is the negative 1. Therefore, our answer is negative 1 over 2 and 0. We don't need to take care of domain right now because this is not included. Okay, since this is not included, therefore you don't need to be careful because you can see here x4 minus half is not included. So let's see for our right hand side here, x minus 1 over 2x plus 1. This is more than 1, so bring 1 to the left hand side. And then equate denominator, simplify. You can leave it as it is, or you can simplify. You can get rid of the minus sign, which is just multiply minus 1 to both sides. Okay, so multiply this one first. Okay, multiply with minus 1 first. It becomes x plus 2 over 2x plus 1. And then flip the sign. This is 0. Then let's find the zeros or the roots. So x is negative 2. Another one is minus 1 over 2. So now let's draw according to the number line. Negative 2 on your left, negative half on your right. Put in your factor x plus 2 and 2x plus 1. And then for x plus 2, the zeros is minus 2. Right hand side plus, back here is minus. For 2x plus 1, your zeros is here, minus half. So right hand side is plus, back here is minus. Let's find the resulting sign. Minus minus is plus, plus minus is minus, plus plus is plus. You want a negative sign, so this is it. And then the answer here is negative 2 until negative half. So what you want to do with this 2 number here, let's take it together to find the union. So put in first minus half until 0. The second one, negative 2 until negative half. So for union, just take all, okay? It's not straight. So now let's read your answer. Starting from minus 2, you need to stop at minus half and continue again until 0. So final answer, x is equal to -2 until -12, union -12 until 0. So that's the end of inequalities. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.